Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Ecommerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA, private label, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring a very special guest. His name is Steven, and he's the founder of the Pro Development Academy, where they specialize on pro development and help you with everything from pro sourcing all the way to helping you getting your pro into retailers and selling them online. So Steven today is coming to basically talk us around the coming trip he's doing to the Canton Fair and all the exciting news around what is going to happen on that trip, what we need to be aware of, and also to give us some tips when it comes to pro development and sourcing. So Steven, it's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. How you doing?
It is an absolute delight. How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you for coming to our show. I think for me it's a pleasure to have you on. I know you have extensive experience when it comes to pro development, which at the end of the day, we know that's the key to any business success when it comes to selling online to retailers, because you can know all the strategies when it comes to advertisement and how to basically get in touch with these retailers or selling online. But if you don't have a good product, that's the basically dead of your business right there. Is the 80% of the business success, I always say. So it's great to have you on and talk around that. So I think before we jump into all the tips, all the strategies, what is going to happen in the Canton Fair, and what you have going on there, I think I would like to start with you, because I think you have a very interesting background and you have an extensive experience, and I would like to hear what is your journey and how you got into e-commerce, so we can learn from it and then we use that to jump into the topic. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I've been selling products to retailers for over 20 years.
Okay.
Starting in 2001.
Okay.
Although my people of my book know that my journey started back in the 70s. I'm old.
Wow. Long way.
But
Yeah.
in 2005, I
Yeah.
started a e-commerce business. My wife was disabled. I wanted something she could work on from home,
Okay.
and that did pretty well. And I've got some nice some blogs were talking about it. Got into a couple of magazines and stuff like that. And I was working at Microsoft at the time. I worked at Microsoft for 12 years. Eventually, at Microsoft, I was global business manager of worldwide retail sales and marketing. So I was running a $7.35 billion division of the largest company in the world one of the largest companies.
Let me ask you this quick question. Did you meet
yes.
Bill Gates?
Oh, yes.
The big guy.
I was there when Bill Gates was still there. I have a whole lot of stories about him and Balmer. One of the best stories I have about how to compete with people comes from a meeting with Balmer. But I will tell you the first time I met Bill Gates and that's happened a few times. You've seen this on video, I'm sure, from lots of people. I created a presentation for him that he gave in front of everyone, and the technology did not work. So that was, he came off stage and he turned to me and he gave me a look. Now he's shorter than me. He was taller than me at that moment. In my eyes, I was scared to death.
Oh my God.
And luckily my boss stepped in and he took accountability for it. But he was absolutely a brilliant man. My experiences at Microsoft were absolutely fabulous.
Awesome.
And people I worked with there are still working at Amazon in all sorts of different levels and executive levels, because it's a very small community here in Seattle. So
that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So continue with the story.
So at the same time I was working on the large level, I was also working on the small level for my own businesses.
Okay.
And people I knew, I complained about warehouses and stuff like that. So in 2006, so we're going way back there, they had told me that Amazon was going to start renting out space in their own warehouses. I thought, this is fabulous. September of 2006, they launched Amazon FBA. And October of 2006, I was one of the first 100 to sign up. So, but that's FBA being the Amazon service, not the tools and the copying and
that we know nowadays. Yeah,
correct. That started, if you think about it, almost 10 years later. I was talking to Boyan from Helium 10, And I told him I really don't use helium-10 in my product choices.
Yeah.
And he was shocked. And he goes, why not? I said, well, I started 10 years before helium-10 launched. There was no helium-10 back then.
Yeah.
But Amazon changed the world.
Wow.
Before Amazon, to tell someone they could give their credit card information to
Hmm.
someone out in the ether,
It's
and two
crazy.
days
Yeah.
later they would have a product. People just have that assumption now, that trust and that confidence that never existed before. Amazon changed the way people buy products, and that itself was groundbreaking. And of course, everything that Bezos did after that. My
Yeah.
first products, though, I always started focusing on retailers first, and then
Okay.
e-commerce as an additional platform. So I've had some good successes, some good failures. I've had products in Bed Bath and Beyond, Belk's,
Hmm.
Francesca's, hundreds and hundreds of small
Wow.
retail stores. Um, I've had products on every major morning show here in the United States.
Wow.
So that's the Today Show, Good Morning America.
Yeah.
I've been on Fox and Friends, Kathy Lee and Hoda. I've
Wow.
had products in USA Today. I've had products in Paris Vogue, House
Hmm.
Beautiful. I've even had products in the gift bags at the Oscars.
Wow.
Um,
That's great.
I love creating products. I still create products, and I'm in the middle of an exiting, and I'll be creating products next. I have my next one in mind. Um,
Wow.
2012, because I was sourcing from China for a while. 2012, I got on an airplane and I went to the Canton Fair,
Okay.
and I've been to every one of them since then until COVID hit. And the
Hmm.
Canton Fair changes everything. When
Hmm.
I tell people that I haven't sourced from Alibaba in, probably at this point, close to 20 years. No, I
Wow.
take that back. Close to 10 years, 10, 12 years. I've not sourced from Alibaba. They're surprised. They say, how do you
How
source?
you do it?
How do you,
Yeah. How you do it?
how do you
Yeah.
find factories? And there are a few ways. Of course, Alibaba, Global Sources, Made in China, they're all good.
Hmm.
However, the number one way of sourcing in China is through networking.
Hmm.
If you've got a factory and you're doing well, and I'll use some examples here. So let's say you've got a factory and you're selling these little panda bears,
Yeah.
and then you want to go into coffee mugs. The
Hmm.
best way of finding someone who does coffee mugs is to ask your panda bear factory. They
Hmm.
already know that you're serious. They know that you're doing business. They know you pay your
Interesting.
bills.
Yeah.
And in China, business is based on face, on your respect. So if a factory who already knows you recommends you to another factory, they're putting their face in
Hmm.
representing you. And of course, the other factory wants to make sure that they treat you in respect because the first one did. So that's absolutely the best way. The
Yeah.
second best way is the Canton Fair,
Okay.
because you will see and feel and touch and lift up products that you cannot do that on Alibaba. You can't
Yeah.
examine them. You
And
can
I
go
think
from
something that I wanted to add, and maybe you agree with me on these points, that the beauty of going to these fairs is like when you go to Alibaba, most of the time you already go with the product they are in mind, and you get tunnel vision, and you don't necessarily have the opportunity to come across other opportunities in terms of product, because you put specific keywords and that's what you get. By in a fair, you're just walking through floors and you get to see thousands of products, and that's where I guess the light bulb goes in your head of that's a good product, that's a good product,
oh,
and then you go from there.
absolutely. You'll
Yeah.
see, interestingly, because this particular fair should have a lot of exciting products that suppliers have not been able to exhibit because the virtual Canton Fair was limited. So they've got
Mm-hmm.
new things they want to show, but even established things. I had a product that was made with polar fleece. You've
Mm-hmm.
seen that in sweaters and hoodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was at the fair and I was looking at some fabric and I asked about it and he said, "Well, take a look at this." And he introduced me to flannel fleece. It's a little softer, a
Mm.
little shorter. I would never know if I was sourcing online
Yeah.
what the feel is
You
between
can feel it.
polar
Yeah.
fleece and
Yeah.
flannel fleece, but the quality feels so much higher, the price a little bit lower. And I had the factory right there recommending that to
Mm.
me. That you don't get. And I always forget to mention this, and it's probably the most important thing for anyone who's an entrepreneur selling products. You're going to save money, a ton
Mhm.
of money. Just seeing your factory, your supplier in person, even at the fair, you can expect prices to be down about 30%.
Yeah.
That's
Especially because you're
insane.
not buying through a platform, you're buying directly to them, so you can save the fees and everything, I guess, right?
Save the fees. They know who you are. They
Hmm.
want to do business with people they've met. I I get into trouble on a lot of Amazon Facebook groups and with Amazon gurus and others because
Yeah.
I've been doing this for so long. I don't know that FBA says do this. I just do what
Yeah.
works. So
Exactly.
one of those things is there's a lot of Amazon gurus who tell you, well, don't tell them you're the owner of the fact. Tell them you work
No.
for the
Yeah.
boss. Your boss is going to say this or
Yeah.
that. No. In China, kings negotiate with kings.
That's true. Yeah. Hmm.
And when you're at the Canton Fair, you are the owner of your factory.
Yeah. You don't
And
want to be
you
an employee.
talk
You want to make the decision making one. Yeah.
exactly. And now they
Yeah.
see that they want to help you. Um, if we can share that
Sure.
the
Let's
Canton
share it.
Fair site now, what Vincenzo is going to bring up here is this is the site, my Canton Fair trip site, cantonfair2023.com. Really easy
Mm-hmm.
to get to.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an interesting video here. It's too long to play right now, but I'm going to point it out.
Yeah.
If you look at where it says you will save money, and you look just next to it, maybe slide down a moment.
Yeah. So
That
I think
is,
I think in this case you will have to
I have
slide
to
down.
do the slide down.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's
very
right.
good. So let me
So what
do
goes
that.
through? Yeah.
Yep, here. So if you look over here,
Yes.
during the Canton Fair, my program to the Canton Fair, we teach everyone how to negotiate.
Awesome.
And we
Hmm.
do that in the classroom. We role play. I tell you all sorts of things you may or probably have never heard before,
Hmm.
including, frankly, how to negotiate as a woman, because you've got more powers than most men.
Wow.
But the
Okay.
next day at the fair, you go around with me. So this is from a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And this is a couple of the students. They shadow me. We sat down at a random booth and I just started negotiating with the guy as if this was a product I was actually launching.
I see. Okay.
And I have no idea if I can do this even. Let's see. Here we go. At the end, there we go. I
Nice.
received the final prices for him. We had a 40% decrease on the small blanket, a 43% decrease with the teether.
Oh.
We were at 11.2x multiplier. And that's just, well, I'm going to stop that.
Yeah, and I bet the beauty of that is that nobody's gonna be able to get that discount just going to Alibaba on a chat. You know,
Never,
never.
never, never, never. It's only by being there in person. And you don't have to be as skilled as I am. You don't even have to go with my course. I've got a couple of friends who are doing the another course that are also going. Just being there at the Canton Fair changes your business.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, and we can turn off of that screen for the moment.
Yeah.
The
So
other
let's
thing is
take it.
for
Mhm.
everyone to remember, whether you go with a program to the Canton Fair or whether you go to yourself to the Canton Fair, this is your business. Talk to your
Yeah.
accountant. You should be able to deduct almost everything about
Mhm.
going, whether with a program, by yourself, or whatever. So now you're looking at saying, hey, I can deduct the cost of this. I can get there and talk to suppliers and save money. I can
Mhm.
compare suppliers side by side by side. I can get samples basically for free.
That's right.
And on
And you
top
can
of
have
it,
fun.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This Canton Fair is going to be different than the other Canton Fair because we know after SARS, that the Canton Fair, that people selling at the Canton Fair were hungry to make
Mm,
deals. We know that the Chinese government is encouraging them to make
mhm.
deals, and we know that they want to show new products they have not shown in 42 months.
So you feel they're more
April is going to be
aggressive now
incredible.
to do deals with people. They're more aggressive now. You think they're more
Oh,
hungry?
they
Yeah.
aggressively they want to make deals. I suspect that there will be less exhibitors than normal, even though the Chinese
Okay.
government is trying to push them. There's going to be dramatically less participants,
Do
attendees.
you feel it's due to the COVID and a lot of factories shut down because of that? Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be because of the COVID that people don't go there. They're still frightened.
Ah, I see.
And
Okay.
also because of the silliness about visas. It's taking a while to get
Confusion.
visas.
Yeah.
They just open them back up again. So it's confusion, complications. But if anyone can possibly go, this is the time to go. Let me tell you how large it is. Okay,
Yeah.
I used to describe it as 3 airports.
Wow.
3 airports. Um, for Americans, it's 217 football fields.
Wow.
But that's no longer true. During COVID, they opened up a 4th building.
Wow.
And no one's even talking about this yet.
So I guess
According to
realistically, it's impossible to see the whole thing. Realistically,
it
it's
is
impossible.
it is impossible to see a whole thing at one time. It
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
what China does is they break it up into 3 consecutive weeks.
I see. Okay.
Each week has tons of exhibitors. Then they pull everyone out and they come back in again. It's
Mm.
like a giant ballet of machinery.
Yeah.
The first phase includes electronics. If you're doing consumer electronics, you want to go and attend phase 1.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's also heavy machinery,
Mhm.
manufacturing equipment, construction, um, industrial chemicals,
Okay. Interesting. And I
not what
guess
you're selling
it
in
gets divided
e-commerce.
by sub departments onto these big phases, right?
Exactly. The second phase, which starts May 23rd,
Mm-hmm.
is May 22nd, I think, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that includes most of the things that you see online. It's consumer
I see.
packaged goods, CPG. So that's pet products, that's toys, that's um, let's see what else. I'm looking around here. Gardening stuff.
Yeah, there's so
It's
many
got
things of it. Yeah.
novelty items. It's got home decor. All of this spread out all over the whole
Mm-hmm.
Canton Fair. And then the third phase has apparel,
Okay.
has shoes, it has sporting equipment, camping equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and it also has medical, both durable medical goods and active medical ingredients. So now you've got your supplements in there as well.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
and it's just spread out. If you can bring that website up again for a moment,
Sure. Let's do it. Here you go. Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to scroll through here. So let's just see what we're looking at. This is the complex,
Okay.
and you can see all this at Canton Fair 2023, Canton
Okay.
Fair 2023. This is the complex. Here's
Mm-hmm.
another picture of it. This is Hall A, Hall B. We're looking from Hall C, and you'll never see this again now because Hall D is built right over there.
Okay.
This is just walking through one of the halls. On either side are entrances to 3 different floors.
Wow.
Each of those floors are like basically the convention center in any major city. And you can see how many people are there.
Thousands and thousands. Yeah.
It is huge. Now, I do expect in April for it to be much, much, much less because of the visa
Yeah. The
stuff.
situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So here are some shoes. If you're interested in doing shoes, you just go and you see shoes like you won't believe.
Yeah.
Here is an example of the map. B, A, C. Now D is over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is just paper. Paper.
Wow. Yeah.
More inside. Now, interesting with our trip, I also take you to Chinese factories.
Yeah. I
Because
wanted
it's
to ask you
important.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess you go to the fair, but you also have the opportunity to go to the factories of some of these manufacturers, right?
Correct. Correct. When you're there, um, you have a chance to see behind the scenes. You understand, again, how to make your product cost less and also how to increase the quality at the same time. And when you're dealing with the factory, differentiation is simple. Your
Hmm.
factory also is probably working on new, exciting things that you haven't seen, that your competitors haven't seen, that nobody has
Yes.
seen.
Hmm.
And now you get to be the first person to bring that out.
Okay.
And that's huge. That is huge.
And just to understand also a little bit more about how the full itinerary will work. So I guess the full group, you will go together to all the different look like departments of this Canton Fair, or you split in groups and then you meet. What is usually dynamic for people, and how what they could expect from the trip overall? Yeah.
So the first couple of days, first we start off with classroom training.
Okay. Nice.
Then we go into the factories. So you get to visit factories. You understand what's happening behind the scenes at the factory. And
Okay.
this gives you a better opportunity to talk and negotiate and to ask the right questions, because now you've got some expertise. And that's very, very important. And then
Very
we
nice.
go to the fair itself. And at the fair, you have you first of all, I will take you through the fair. And as I said
Okay.
earlier, you can watch me negotiate. I'll help you negotiate and so on. Um, by the end of the first day, most people are confident. They're all going off in their own direction.
Yeah, I
Some
can
people
imagine.
have an
Hmm.
idea. They know exactly what they want to do. And that's
Hmm.
good. Know what you want. Or they know the niche that they want to do. And that's good. Or they're just going for inspiration to see things. And that's good. But whatever it is, I'm there. I've got a couple of other people who are going to be on my staff, including someone who speaks Chinese. So they're
Okay.
there. And at any time, you just text and we'll come
Okay.
right through. The last time I was there, which was November, I left in November, but it was basically the
Yes.
October Fair in 2019. I put close to 11 miles on my step tracker
Yeah.
over all those days. It was absolutely insane. So one of the real key points, and something that sets my program apart from everyone else, is that it is very, very high touch. It is
Yeah.
as much
Personalized.
attention as you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then in the evenings, we do group dinners, and I have experts that come in and talk to you.
Yeah, well,
So
I wanted to
you're
actually
learning all
point
the
that
time.
out. That I saw you have masterminds and anything, which is great, because I guess every night after the visit, you guys talk about what you saw, what you learned, terminologies. You learn from each other and talk about strategy for the next day. I guess, right?
Absolutely. I've got
Yeah.
actually, see if there's a picture up here that I can share about this. I
Sure.
don't see it here, but I'll share a story.
Mm-hmm.
So I had someone who came with me to the October Canton Fair,
Okay.
and she was very nervous, didn't have a whole lot of confidence because you're in
Yeah.
a place where people don't speak English,
Yeah.
and
You
you're in
don't
a
feel in your own.
situation that you've
Yeah.
never been in before unless you've negotiated in person. It's very difficult to do so. And I give everyone this book. This is the
Okay.
Canton Fair workbook. It's basically,
Nice.
you open it up and there's all the questions you need to ask your supplier.
I
And it
see.
just basically guides you through step by step. You don't have to worry that you don't know what you're doing or anything else. And she took this book and she used it religiously. She wrote all the notes in, she took the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
she took the business cards. Someone was so impressed with how she was doing this that they actually gave her a sample of one of their higher, more popular products, just so she had it as like a thank you. So she got built up a lot of confidence. And then at the end of the fair, she had one factory she wanted to visit. So we set up a time and the two of us went to visit her factory. Now, at this point, she's doing pretty well. So I'm
Yeah.
just hanging back. I'm there to help as she
Backup.
needs me. Exactly. Exactly. So she sits down with the factory owner, or let me actually be more specific about that. I sat here,
Yeah.
she sat next to me, and the factory owner sat across the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting down to start talking about the her product and so on. And I'm going to actually bring up a video here.
Sure.
Guys, when you get here, when you come to Canton Fair 2023.com, click on this video, because
Okay.
this will let you see all about the fair. You'll see pictures inside and so on.
Nice.
But I'm going to bring up, here she is. This is her right here. Hold on.
Fantastic. It changed my life and my business.
So
Yeah.
these are actual pictures of her negotiating. What she did was she got up from next to me.
Mm-hmm.
She stood up. She walked around the table. She sat down next to the factory owner. You see that right there.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, this is what I need. This is the price. How do we get there together?
Wow.
That's a completely different conversation than what people typically have. And I'm going to play this a little bit more. Hold on.
Yeah.
To a level I never imagined.
There we go. You see she right there. She's like shaking hands. I'm going to do this again. Hold on.
China trip. It's fantastic.
That's the factory. She's checking out the factory. We teach you
Nice.
what to look for in the factory. Just don't walk in saying, wow,
Like
I've never
quality
done this.
control, the machines, all of that. Yeah,
Exactly. The quality control, the machines, the showroom, all of these are the things you need to be looking at. That's what she's doing here. You see the machines there behind her. Look at this.
Changed my life and my
There
business.
she is sitting down.